Hello everyone, wishing you all a pleasant day. So we have completed Unit 2, the structural organization in animals. We have discussed it in part 1 and part 2. So we have learned about the tissues and we have learned about the cockroach, the anatomy of the cockroach. So today we will come to a new chapter, that is Unit 3, that is cell structure and functions. Cell structure and functions. In Unit 3, we have 3 chapters, Chapter 8, Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. In Chapter 8, we will discuss the cell, the unit of life. Chapter 9, we will be discussing about the biomolecules. And in Chapter 10, we will be discussing cell cycle and cell division. So topics to be discussed in this Chapter 8, cell, the unit of life. We will have the overview of cell and cell theory, what the scientists have said about the cell and cell theory we will see. Then the prokaryotic cells, we will learn about the prokaryotic cells. Then cell membrane and cell wall. Then we will learn about the endomembrane system. Then the mitochondria to nucleus, cytoskeleton to microbodies. So we will be discussing part by part. We all know that cell is the basic unit of life. Okay, सारे cells से बना हुआ है. हमारे body के सारे cells से बना हुआ है. We know that. So cell is the basic unit of life. So our body is formed of billions and billions of cells. So we are learning from the primary class onwards. We are learning this factor, isn't it? So I am trying to explain through the flow chart in this chapter. So we will discuss through the flow chart so that it will be very easier for you. Okay. So we know that in 1665, the Antony van Leeuwenhoek has discovered live cell. Okay. First, in 1665, Robert Hooke had discovered from the dead cell, but live cell को किसने खोजा है? Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Okay, so he is telling they are telling that basic cell is the basic unit of life. So cell को they have divided into 2 parts. They are unicellular organism and multicellular organism. So that also we have learned in the primary classes. That is also we are not new to this portion. Just we are revising and recalling the portions that which we have learned in the primary, and a bit of discussion will be there. Okay, so unicellular organisms, we know that they are capable of independent existence and they will be performing essential functions of the life. So they are able to exist independently. Okay, and at the same time they will be performing the essential functions of the life. So inside the cell, what are the parts? Okay, so cell में कौन से parts है? Okay, so cell में nucleus है, organelles है, cytoplasm है. So in the cell we have nucleus, organelles and cytoplasm. So in nucleus, membrane bound, they are eukaryotic cell, and membraneless, they are prokaryotic cell. जिसमें membrane bound है, they are eukaryotic cell, and जिसमें membrane नहीं है, उसको है prokaryotic cell. Then cytoplasm, we know that is the main arena of cellular activities. So both in plants and animals, the main arena of cellular activities is taking place in cytoplasm. What is the meaning of arena? It means place. So main place of the cellular activities, that is the cytoplasm. Okay, organelles, we know about the cell organelles. We have learned about mitochondria, ribosome. We have learned about the cell organelles. Okay, when we were in 9th class. So organelles, they are membrane bound and membraneless. So membrane bound will be absent in the prokaryotes and present in the eukaryotes. Membraneless, present in the prokaryotes and it is present in the eukaryote also. Only in the ribosomes we can see here. So just now we have learnt about the organelles. There are membrane bound and membraneless. Okay, so there are double membranous. So while learning about the organelles, we learn this one also. Double membranous also, non-membranous. So double membranous, what are the cell organelles? We can remember M and C. What is that? Mitochondria, nucleus and chloroplast. So M and C. mitochondria, the nucleus and the chloroplast. And non-membranous, you can remember R, B, C and Ni. Okay, R is ribosome, B is basal body, C centriole or the centrosome, then M is nucleolus, I is inclusion bodies. So you have to remember double membranous cell organelles, that is MNC, and non-membranous cell organelles, that is R, B, C, N and I. Okay, M is mitochondria, N is nucleus here, nucleus, and the C is chloroplast in the double membranous organelles. Non-membranous are ribosome, B basal body, C centriole or we can centrosome, then the N nucleolus and I inclusion bodies. Now let us learn about the cell theory. Okay, so cell theory, it was formulated by Schleiden and Schwann. सेल थ्योरी जो है दोनों साइंटिस्ट मिलकर दिए हैं, ये जो श्लेडन एंड श्वान. We all know that Schleiden is a German botanist and Schwann is a zoologist. So Schleiden had discovered regarding the plant tissues and all. So he had discovered various kinds of tissues and it is formed of different types of cells. He had discovered regarding that. And Schwann, he had discovered that outer layer of the animal tissues, it is composed of plasma membrane. So that's what, then both of them together formulated the theory. They did not explain as how the new cells were formed, but they have formulated a theory and their studies were that all living organisms are composed of cells and their products. All the living organisms are composed of cells and their products. That was their studies. And afterwards, Rudolf Virchow, he had explained, he had modified this cell theory and he had given the final shape to the cell theory. So what did he say? He said omnicellula is cellulae. What is the meaning of that one? So all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. Omnicellula is cellulae. Okay, omnicellula is cellulae. That means all the cells arise from the pre-existing cells. So Schleiden and Schwann was the first one. They have formulated the theory and they said that all the living organisms are composed of cells and their products. But Rudolf Virchow, he not only modified this cell theory, he gave the final shape to the cell theory and he said that he proposed omnicellula is cellulae. What is the meaning of that? All the cells arise from the pre-existing cells. Now let us learn the differences between the eukaryotic cell and the prokaryotic cell. Okay, the eukaryotic cell and the prokaryotic cell. We know that eukaryotic cells are bigger while the prokaryotic cells are small. Okay, and both of them will be having the common characters also that we will discuss later. First we will discuss about the eukaryotic cell. We know that they are membrane bound nucleus with nucleolus. Membrane bound nucleus with nucleolus. While the prokaryotic cell is unbound nucleoid. So it is not bounded. Okay, here it is membrane bound nucleus. Okay, the eukaryotic cell, they have complex appendages. They will be having complex appendages such as flagella, cilia and all. Here they will be having simple appendages in the prokaryotic cell. What are they? Flagella. While the eukaryotic cell will be having the complex appendages. What are they? Flagella and the cilia. And eukaryotic cell will be having linear DNA with histone. Okay, linear DNA with histone. While in the prokaryotic cell, the circular DNA will be without histone. The circular DNA will be without histone. And here we can find in the eukaryotic cell membrane bound organelles. Okay, membrane bound organelles. While in the prokaryotic cell, no membrane bound organelles. So no membrane bound organelles will be there. And here the mitosis and meiosis is taking place, while here no mitosis, only meiosis is taking place in the prokaryotic cell. So here the cell wall is simple. If the cell wall is present, then it will be of simple type. Here the cell wall is of complex type in the case of prokaryotic cell. Here the cytoskeleton is present. Here the cytoskeleton will not be there in the prokaryotic cell. Here it is composed of 80S ribosomes. We will discuss about the ribosomes later, what is ATS ribosomes, how it is ATS. So S is the Swedberg unit. Okay, it is unit. So 70S ribosome, while the prokaryotic cell is of 70S. So it is composed of 2 units. S is mentioned as Swedberg unit. Okay. So these are the main differences between the eukaryotic cell and the prokaryotic cell. So it is bigger while the prokaryotic cell is smaller. So here the membrane bound nucleus will be nucleus without with nucleolus, and the complex appendages will be here, linear DNA with histone, and membrane bound organelles, mitosis and meiosis will be taking place here. Cell wall is of simple type if present, and cytoskeleton is there, and ATS ribosomes. While the prokaryotic cell, we know that it is smaller and unbound nucleoid, and they will be having simple appendages, flagella is present, circular DNA without the histone we can see, no membrane bound organelles will be found, no mitosis and only meiosis will be taking place here, cell wall will be of complex type, here no cytoskeleton is taking place, and 70S ribosomes. I have told you S is the Swedberg unit. Okay. So here we have the common character. So whereas we can find in eukaryotic as well as in the prokaryotic, some of the common character: flagella, plasma membrane, cell division, cytoplasm, ribosomes, and DNA. So these are the common characters that which is found in the eukaryotic and prokaryotic. So hope the differences between the eukaryotic cell as well as the prokaryotic cell is clear to you all. Now let us see the differences between the plant cell as well as the animal cell. We know that plant cell will be having cell wall, they contain chloroplast, and they will be having large vacuoles. While in the animal cells, it has centrioles, it will be having lysosome, and the vacuoles will be of smaller type. And this plant cell and the animal cell, they will be having a common character. So what are the common characters that which we find in the plant cell as well as the animal cell? We know that cell membrane is a common character for animal cell as well as the plant cell. Then the cytoplasm, the nucleus, Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosome, and the mitochondria. These are the common characters that which is found in the plant cell as well as the animal cell. So here we have some of the GK type of questions that which is important and which is given in the introductory part of this chapter. So let's discuss that. So here the smallest cell, which is the smallest cell, mycoplasma. Okay, it is said PPLO, pleuroorganisms, no? It is the mycoplasma. So we have learned earlier pleuropneumonia like microorganisms. Okay, so we have already discussed regarding that. That will be composed of 1 micrometer, it is said. Okay, it is of only 0.1 or 0.3 micrometer. And bacteria, a typical bacteria will be of 1 to 2 micrometer, but 3 to 5 micrometer here. The typical bacteria will be of 1 to 2 micrometer. Then the largest isolated single cell. What is the largest isolated single cell? Ostrich here. It is the largest isolated single cell. Then human RBC. So it will be of 7 micrometer. So diameter of the RBC, the red blood cell of the human is 7 micrometer. Then the longest cell of the human body, we know that it is the nerve cell. Okay. So longest cell of the human body, that is nerve cell. And the typical eukaryotic cell, that is of 10 to 20 micrometer. Typical eukaryotic cell will be of 10 to 20 micrometer. Then plastids, cell walls, large central vacuole. Okay, so the plastids, cell walls and the central vacuoles will be absent in the animals. And centrioles are present in the, it is not absent in the higher plants also. Centrioles and the plastids, cell walls, large central vacuole is absent in the animals. Then cellular totipotency. In all the plant cells, you can see the cellular totipotency. What is totipotency? एक सेल से पूरा plant body formation कर सकता है, उसी को totipotency बोलते हैं. Okay, so from one cell we can make a full plant body. Okay, एक सेल से पूरा plant body का formation कर सकते हैं, उसी को totipotency बोलते हैं. So this is only about the general knowledge of the introductory part. Smallest cell, which is the smallest cell, and how much diameter it is, which is the bacteria. The typical bacteria consists of how much diameter, what is the largest isolated single cell, the human RBC, what is the diameter of human RBC, which is the largest cell present in the human being. A typical eukaryotic cell is composed of how much diameter, and the Laplace cell walls, the central vacuole, these are all absent in the animals. And regarding the cellular totipotency, hope it is clear to you all. Now let us learn about the prokaryotic cell. We know that prokaryotic cells are very small. Okay, so all the monoerens, bacteria, PPLO, Pleuropneumonia-like organisms, blue-green algae, mycoplasma, all these comes under this category. Okay, the prokaryotic cells. Okay, so very fast multiplication will be taking place as compared to the eukaryotes. Okay, so in the prokaryotes, very fast multiplications will be taking place here as compared to the eukaryotic cells. So here the cell envelope, we can see the prokaryotic cell, the cell envelope. What is the cell envelope made up of? It is made up of chemical complex. Okay, so what are the composition? Glycocalyx, cell wall and plasma membrane. Okay, so it is made up of glycocalyx, cell wall and plasma membrane. So glycocalyx, we all know that differ in the composition of thickness. So it has loose sheath as well as thick tuft. Okay, so loose sheath is composed, that is called slime layer. It is formed of slime layer, and thick tuft is formed of capsule. Okay, then the cell wall. Okay, regarding the cell wall, we know that cell wall and cell wall means it is made of plant cell is made up of cell wall. Okay, we have learned about the cell wall. Next we are going to learn about the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane, also the outer layer of animal tissues we have learned. So mesosomes will be having three forms in this one: vesicle, tubule and the lamellate. So it will be having three forms: vesicle, tubule and the lamellate. And the prokaryotic cells, motile cells are there, non-motile is also there. Motile, we know that movement. Okay, flagella is present. Flagella is present, and they will be having filament, hook and the basal body. And what are the functions of the mesosome? Cell wall formation, DNA replication, respiration, secretion. These are the functions of the mesosome. Okay, so let's move forward. Now let us learn about the main characteristics of prokaryotes. The main characteristics of the prokaryotes. First of all, we are going to discuss about the cell wall. So the cell wall is non-cellulosic. What is the meaning of non-cellulosic? It means it is not composed of cellulose. इसकी जगह और कुछ से बना हुआ है. What is that? Polysaccharides amino acid. Polysaccharides amino acid. So if polysaccharide and amino acid, we can call it as peptidoglycan. Otherwise we can call it as murine also. Okay, so peptidoglycan we can say. Non-cellulosic, that means it is composed of peptidoglycan. Then cell membrane. It is made up of lipoprotein. Cell membrane is made up of lipoprotein. And space between the cell wall and the cell membrane. Between the cell wall and the cell membrane. What is it termed as? Periplasmic space. Okay, the space between the cell wall as well as the cell membrane is termed as periplasmic space. So that will be similar to lysosome. That means analogous to lysosome. So the periplasmic space is similar to the lysosome. So next about the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, membrane bound cell organelles are absent in the cytoplasm. Membrane bound cell organelles are absent in the cytoplasm. Here no well defined nucleus. So if the nucleus is not present, then we can call it as incipient nucleus, or we can call it as genophore, or we can call it as nucleoid. Okay, so if we remove the genophore from the bacteria will not be able to survive. So bacteria will die. Okay, so if genophore is absent, or if we are taking out from the bacteria, then the bacteria will not be able to survive. The bacteria will die. So no well-defined nucleus. That means the incipient nucleus. Then the genetic material is basically naked. So the genetical material is basically naked in the prokaryotes. So prokaryote ribosomes consist of 70 S. As I have told you, it's a Swedberg. Okay, Swedberg. That means sediment coefficient, which is a unit. Okay, so 70 S. That means 50 S plus 30 S. And here eukaryotic ribosome is of 80 S. Okay, then non-histonic DNA. It's composed of non-histonic DNA. Prokaryotic, this ribosomes is composed of flagellin, and eukaryotic will be composed of tubule. That you have to remember here. So here the main important point is that cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan, and the space between the cell wall as well as the cell membrane is termed as periplasmic space. That much you have to remember here. Next we will learn about the flagella. So we know that flagella, motility, it helps in motion, okay, motility on whole body. It is peritrichous type of, okay, we have learned about cephalotrichus, amphitrichus, many we will learn, but peritrichus means all over the body the flagella is present. Example we have is E. coli. One more example you can learn Salmonella typhi is another example. So flagella will be having a basal body, a hook and a filament. So basal body attached to substratum and it will be connected. Hook is connecting basal body and the filament. Filament we know that it is the largest portion and it is rod shaped and it is composed of flagellin protein, that you have to remember, and it is contractile. Okay, so these are the important points about the filament. The filament means it is the longest portion, it is rod shaped, and flagellin protein, it is composed of, many times it is asked on the exam point of view, the question is being asked, flagella is composed of what type of protein? Flagellin protein, and it is contractile, that you have to remember here. Then the bacterial cells may be motile and sometimes it may be non-motile. So bacteria will be showing a range in the number of arrangements. Okay, they will be showing a range in the number of the arrangement of the flagella. So pili and fimbriae. Okay, pili and fimbriae, it is not having any role in the motility. So pili and fimbriae, it will not be having any role in the motility. The flagella will be moving, showing the locomotion. So here let us learn about the pili. Pili, elongated tubular hollow structure. It is composed of elongated tubular and hollow structure, and it is made up of pilin protein. Pili is made up of pilin protein, but here we have learned the flagellin protein is contractile, but pilin protein is non-contractile. Okay, it is non-contractile. Next we will learn about the fimbriae. So it will be helping some bacteria to attach to rocks in streams and also to host tissues. So fimbriae help some bacteria to attach to rocks in streams and also to the host tissue. So this is the function of the fimbriae. What does the fimbriae does? What does the pili does? So this you have to remember. So just now we have learned about the cell wall. It is made up of chemical complex, I have told you. So cell wall, it has glycocalyx, mesosome and plasma membrane. So let's learn about the glycocalyx. So glycocalyx, as I have told you, sticky character to the bacterial cell. So it acts as glue, okay, to the bacterial cell. Differs in the composition in thickness. So loose sheet and thick tuft. So loose sheet, we know that it is slime layer. It is formed of slime layer, and thick tuft, it is capsule formation. So slime layer will be formed in the colony formation, and capsule will be protecting the bacteria from the WBCs, white blood cells. It will be protecting. So here we know that mesosomes, it is similar to mitochondria. What is the main function of the mesosome? Cellular respiration. So here it contains oxidative enzymes. So the mesosome will be containing oxidative enzymes. So it has three forms: vesicle, tubule and lamellae. Okay, so vesicle, tubule and lamellae. So what are the main functions of the mesosome? Has peripheral region as well as central region. So peripheral region is helps in cellular respiration, secretion and cell wall formation, and the central region will be helping for the cell division as well as DNA replication. So these are the main functions of the mesosome. So mesosome helps in cell division, cell wall formation, DNA replication, cell respiration and secretion. Okay, then we have plasma membrane. Okay, so infoldings of the cells. Okay, so it will be containing pigments, that is termed as chromatophore. So chromatophore, they are the. So what are chromatophores? They are the photosynthetic pigments. Okay, that example we have cyanobacteria. Then moving towards the next. Now let us learn about the bacteria. So they differ in cell envelope, cell wall. They will be differing in cell wall and staining also. So we have gram positive as well as gram negative. So they will be retaining the stain, so purple color. Even if we wash it in the alcohol also, the purple color remain as same. Okay, as such. Cell wall is of single layered. In in the gram positive, but in the gram negative don't retain stain. Here they won't retain the stain, but cell wall will be of bilayered. Okay, so two examples only. Otherwise, again one more example you can remember: teichoic acid present in the gram positive, teichoic acid absent in the gram negative. They are having a wavy outer covering. This will not be having that. So in that way, so many differences are there. But to remember, you have to remember they will be retaining the stain in gram positive, and here they don't retain stain. Okay, here cell wall will be of single layer. Here cell wall will be of bilayered. That you have to remember here. Next. The plant pathogenic bacteria, we have example as crown gall. So Arcobacterium tumefaciens. Okay, that is the example given here. The plant pathogenic bacteria example, we have crown gall. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is the example given here. Now let us learn about the gas vacuoles. So what does gas vacuoles helps us for the buoyancy? Okay, for the blue-green algae, purple bacteria, green photosynthetic bacteria. So by it maintains, it helps in the buoyancy. Now let us learn about the inclusion bodies. Okay, so what are the function of the inclusion bodies? So they will be reserving material in the prokaryotic cells and are stored in this form. Okay, that's a unique character. Okay, so they store the reserved food material. So not bounded by any of the membrane system. That's what we call it as non-membranous. It is not bounded by any of the membranes. Okay, so we have examples as phosphate granules, cyanophacian granules, so glycogen granules. So it will be reserved in the form of phosphate granules, cyanophacian granules and glycogen granules. Next, moving towards the plasmid. So let's learn about the plasmid. So this term was proposed by Lederberg. Okay, the term was proposed by Lederberg, and it is an extra chromosomal DNA of bacteria. Okay, extra. This is the plasmid is the extra chromosomal DNA of the bacteria. So we can say circular DNA outside the genomic DNA, the circular DNA. Then it will be having the ability to replicate independently. So these plasmids will be having the ability to replicate independently. Then it involves in genetic engineering. These plasmids involves in the genetic engineering. They are resistant to antibiotics. They will be showing the phenotypic character, the outside character. Then the maximum number of bases in plasmid is 500 kilobase. Okay, so the maximum number of bases in the plasmid is 500 kilobases. So you have to remember only the term plasmid is being proposed by Lederberg. So that's all about the introductory part, and we will be learning the remaining parts in details. Learn at home, stay healthy. May God bless you all. Thank you.